Start. MTC. Unit 13, 1. No analysis. One of the most important aspects of providing good care is making sure that an animal's needs are being met consistently and predictably. Like humans, animals need a sense of control. So an animal who may get enough food but doesn't know when the food will appear and can see no consistent schedule may experience distress. We can provide a sense of control by ensuring that our animal's environment is predictable. There is always water available and always in the same place. There is always food when we get up in the morning and after our evening walk. There will always be a time and place to eliminate, without having to hold things in to the point of discomfort. Human companions can display consistent emotional support, rather than providing love one moment and withholding love the next. When animals know what to expect, they can feel more confident and calm. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1. No 01. One big difference between science and stage magic is that while magicians hide their mistakes from the audience, in science you make your mistakes in public. You show them off so that everybody can learn from them. This way, you get the advantage of everybody else's experience, and not just your own idiosyncratic path through the space of mistakes. This, by the way, is another reason why we humans are so much smarter than every other species. It is not that our brains are bigger or more powerful, or even that we have the ability to reflect on our own past errors, but that we share the benefits that our individual brains have earned from their individual histories of trial and error. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1. No 02. In a culture where there is a belief that you can have anything you truly want, there is no problem in choosing. Many cultures, however, do not maintain this belief. In fact, many people do not believe that life is about getting what you want. Life is about doing what you are supposed to do. The reason they have trouble making choices is they believe that what they may want is not related to what they are supposed to do. The weight of outside considerations is greater than their desires. When this is an issue in a group, we discuss what makes for good decisions. If a person can be unburdened from their cares and duties and, just for a moment, consider what appeals to them, they get the chance to sort out what is important to them. Then they can consider and negotiate with their external pressures. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1. No 03. When a child is upset, the easiest and quickest way to calm them down is to give them food. This acts as a distraction from the feelings they are having, gives them something to do with their hands and mouth and shifts their attention from whatever was upsetting them. If the food chosen is also seen as a treat such as sweets or a biscuit, then the child will feel treated and happier. In the shorter term, using food like this is effective. But in the longer term it can be harmful, as we quickly learn that food is a good way to manage emotions. Then as we go through life, whenever we feel annoyed, anxious or even just bored, we turn to food to make ourselves feel better. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1. No 04. As much as we can learn by examining fossils, it is important to remember that they seldom tell the entire story. Things only fossilize under certain sets of conditions. Modern insect communities are highly diverse in tropical forests, but the recent fossil record captures little of that diversity. Many creatures are consumed entirely or decompose rapidly when they die, so there may be no fossil record at all for important groups. It's a bit similar to a family photo album. Maybe when you were born your parents took lots of pictures, but over the years they took photographs occasionally, and sometimes they got busy and forgot to take pictures at all. Very few of us have a complete photo record of our life. Fossils are just like that. Sometimes you get very clear pictures of the past, while at other times there are big gaps, and you need to notice what they are. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1. No 05. As the 10th anniversary of the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, approached, 9/11 related media stories peaked in the days immediately surrounding the anniversary date and then dropped off rapidly in the weeks thereafter. 2001911110, 9/11ths. Surveys conducted during those times asked citizens to choose 2 especially important events from the past 70 years. 70. 2 weeks prior to the anniversary, before the media blitz began, about 30% of respondents named 9/11ths. 2, 309/11. But as the anniversary drew closer, and the media treatment intensified, survey respondents started identifying 9/11ths in increasing numbers to a high of 65%. 9/11, 65. 2 weeks later, though, after reportage had decreased to earlier levels, once again only about 30% of the participants placed it among their 2 especially important events of the past 70 years. 2, 3070. Clearly, the amount of news coverage can make a big difference in the perceived significance of an issue among observers as they are exposed to the coverage. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, No 06. Here's the unpleasant truth, we are all biased. Every human being is affected by unconscious biases that lead us to make incorrect assumptions about other people. Everyone. To a certain extent, bias is a necessary survival skill. If you're an early human, perhaps Homo erectus, walking around the jungles, you may see an animal approaching. Homo erectus. You have to make very fast assumptions about whether that animal is safe or not, based solely on its appearance. The same is true of other humans. You make split-second decisions about threats in order to have plenty of time to escape, if necessary. This could be one root of our tendency to categorize and label others based on their looks and their clothes. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, No 07. When reading another scientist's findings, think critically about the experiment. Ask yourself: were observations recorded during or after the experiment? Do the conclusions make sense? Can the results be repeated? Are the sources of information reliable? You should also ask if the scientist or group conducting the experiment was unbiased. Being unbiased means that you have no special interest in the outcome of the experiment. For example, if a drug company pays for an experiment to test how well one of its new products works, there is a special interest involved. The drug company profits if the experiment shows that its product is effective. Therefore, the experimenters aren't objective. They might ensure the conclusion is positive and benefits the drug company. When assessing results, think about any biases that may be present. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, No 08. Humans are champion long-distance runners. As soon as a person and a chimp start running, they both get hot. Chimps quickly overheat, humans do not, because they are much better at shedding body heat. According to one leading theory, ancestral humans lost their hair over successive generations because less hair meant cooler, more effective long-distance running. That ability let our ancestors outmaneuver and outrun prey. Try wearing a couple of extra jackets, or better yet, fur coats on a hot humid day and run a mile. 1. Now, take those jackets off and try it again. You'll see what a difference a lack of fur makes. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, No 09. Recently I was with a client who had spent almost 5 hours with me. 5. As we were parting for the evening, we reflected on what we had covered that day. Even though our conversation was very collegial, I noticed that my client was holding one leg at a right angle to his body, seemingly wanting to take off on its own. At that point I said, "You really do have to leave now, don't you?" "Yes," he admitted. I am so sorry. I didn't want to be rude, but I have to call London and I only have 5 minutes. 5. Here was a case where my client's language and most of his body revealed nothing but positive feelings. His feet, however, were the most honest communicators, and they clearly told me that as much as he wanted to stay, duty was calling. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, Number 10. Remember that patience is always of the essence. If an apology is not accepted, thank the individual for hearing you out and leave the door open for if and when he wishes to reconcile. Be conscious of the fact that just because someone accepts your apology does not mean she has fully forgiven you. It can take time, maybe a long time, before the injured party can completely let go and fully trust you again. There is little you can do to speed this process up. If the person is truly important to you, it is worthwhile to give him or her the time and space needed to heal. Do not expect the person to go right back to acting normally immediately. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, Number 11. Although many small businesses have excellent websites, they typically can't afford aggressive online campaigns. One way to get the word out is through an advertising exchange, in which advertisers place banners on each other's websites for free. For example, a company selling beauty products could place its banner on a site that sells women's shoes, and in turn, the shoe company could put a banner on the beauty products site. Neither company charges the other, they simply exchange ad space. Advertising exchanges are gaining in popularity, especially among marketers who do not have much money and who don't have a large sales team. By trading space, advertisers find new outlets that reach their target audiences that they would not otherwise be able to afford. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, Number 12. Motivation may come from several sources. It may be the respect I give every student, the daily greeting I give at my classroom door, the undivided attention when I listen to a student, a pat on the shoulder whether the job was done well or not, an accepting smile, or simply I love you when it is most needed. It may simply be asking how things are at home. For one student considering dropping out of school, it was a note from me after one of his frequent absences saying that he made my day when I saw him in school. He came to me with the note with tears in his eyes and thanked me. He will graduate this year. Whatever technique is used, the students must know that you care about them. But the concern must be genuine, the students can't be fooled. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, Number 13. People engage in typical patterns of interaction based on the relationship between their roles and the roles of others. Employers are expected to interact with employees in a certain way, as are doctors with patients. In each case, actions are restricted by the role responsibilities and obligations associated with individuals' positions within society. For instance, parents and children are linked by certain rights, privileges, and obligations. Parents are responsible for providing their children with the basic necessities of life: food, clothing, shelter, and so forth. These expectations are so powerful that not meeting them may make the parents vulnerable to charges of negligence or abuse. Children, in turn, are expected to do as their parents say. Thus, interactions within a relationship are functions not only of the individual personalities of the people involved but also of the role requirements associated with the statuses they have. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, Number 14. The title of Thomas Friedman's 2005 book, The World is Flat, was based on the belief that globalization would inevitably bring us closer together. Thomas Friedman 2005. The world is flat. It has done that, but it has also inspired us to build barriers. When faced with perceived threats, the financial crisis, terrorism, violent conflict, refugees, and immigration, the increasing gap between rich and poor people cling more tightly to their groups. One founder of a famous social media company believed social media would unite us. In some respects it has, but it has simultaneously given voice and organizational ability to new cyber tribes, some of whom spend their time spreading blame and division across the World Wide Web. World Wide Web. There seem now to be as many tribes, and as much conflict between them, as there have ever been. Is it possible for these tribes to coexist in a world where the concept of us and them remains? MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, Number 15. Mobility provides a change to the environment for journalists. Newspaper stories, television reports, and even early online reporting, prior to communication technology such as tablets and smartphones, required one central place to which a reporter would submit his or her news story for printing, broadcast, or posting. Now, though, a reporter can shoot video, record audio, and type directly on their smartphones or tablets and post a news story instantly. Journalists do not need to report to a central location where they all contact sources, type, or edit video. A story can be instantaneously written, shot, and made available to the entire world. The news cycle, and thus the job of the journalist, never takes a break. Thus the 24-hour news cycle that emerged from the rise of cable TV is now a thing of the past. TV 24. The news cycle is really a constant. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 13, 1, Number 16. In an experiment, researchers presented participants with two photos of faces and asked participants to choose the photo that they thought was more attractive, and then handed participants that photo. Using a clever trick inspired by stage magic, when participants received the photo, it had been switched to the photo not chosen by the participant, the less attractive photo. Remarkably, most participants accepted this photo as their own choice and then proceeded to give arguments for why they had chosen that face in the first place. This revealed a striking mismatch between our choices and our ability to rationalize outcomes. This same finding has since been observed in various domains including taste for jam and financial decisions.